Yo, what's up? How goes it? What's up, Fig? How you doing? What's up, Mystical? Good evening to you guys. How you guys doing? What up, Adro? What's up, Sanam? 3D so heavy probably because I turned 35 yesterday. Well, happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. That's awesome. I'm about to turn 37, which is crazy. Yo, what up, LEG? AG? I got a good question. What happens if we leave an impression, Joseph? Is it guaranteed to happen at some point, even if we think? Yeah, so that is a good question, Mystical. And what I find that is that if you can, like, so the moment that you imagine something, the moment that you feel something to be true, it is that way. And if you have thoughts that come up to the contrary, your only job is just to not identify with them. That's really it, right? Like, that's what I mean by imagining to the contrary. When I say your only job is not imagine the contrary, what I'm saying is you don't want to identify with thoughts to the contrary. You don't want to um, give anything the meaning that's to the contrary. And as long as you do that, then everything flows. You're welcome, Fig Tree. I feel so old already. Yeah, I feel that. You know, a cool thing that I've been affirming, I didn't really come up with this, it kind of found me, is that I've been saying, "Hey, you know, the older that I get, the more youthful and the happier that I feel." And that's been really working for me. I've been loving that simple acknowledgement. Yo, what up, Savan? Happy birthday. It's very kind of you. So if the opposite come up, I can just say to myself, it's not true and give it that meaning. So I'm still in the state. Yeah. Yeah. So I had a really cool thing that I shared with my buddy today. He's also with me on the school community, which by the way, we are starting to do a yearly membership for it. We realize that most people need individual help instead of like a group thing. So we're going to start doing memberships for school, and it's going to be very unique for each individual person. And my course is going to be included, and my books going to be included because I feel like one of the biggest challenges is that, and I had the same challenge, is that most people don't have hands-on support, and it's not custom to them. Like everybody's on, talking about YouTube, or if I do a video, it's very custom, and each individual person is so unique that we found that we need to make something that's helpful for each person. So, you might want to check that out as well. It's because we trust ourselves more deeply the older we get. Yeah, it's true. That is very, very true. But anyways, what I was talking about with my buddy is that I noticed a very interesting thing, and Neville talks about that all states of consciousness exist now. And we can all think back to try to think of an example where this is very helpful. So, both times that I manifested my wife, I was in the same state of consciousness. Both times I manifested my wife out of my life, I was in the same state of consciousness. And what I mean by that is you'll notice that every time you're falling out of the state, what happens is that you have certain thought patterns and you have certain emotions that happen to you as a result of the state of consciousness that you're in. And vice versa, when you're in the state of consciousness of being in a loving relationship, your emotions and your thought patterns change automatically. And so I couldn't necessarily describe why I knew that affirmations weren't the solution. I just intuitively knew that they weren't. But I found the reason why. And the reason why is because the thoughts and the emotions are secondary of the state that you occupy. So if I'm in the state of consciousness of being in a loving relationship, the thoughts that will automatically happen to me are going to be thoughts from that state, going to be emotions from that state. So what we want to change then is the state and not the thoughts and not the emotions, because the thoughts and the emotions are secondary, if that makes sense. So That's why I primarily now talk about being in flow or being consciousness is because this automatically changes your state, which then changes your thoughts and your emotions. What up, JT? Wait, are you the real JT? I feel like there's so many JTs that I've been interacting with. How's everybody's? I was about to say Saturday. How's everybody's Monday going? I'm your favorite JT. Lizzie says, favorite JT. What's up, my favorite JT? We got like everybody from the membership group, which is cool. Mystical, what'd you think of the call with JR, Joseph Rodriguez? I love that. I was so happy about that. How do I recreate her? My girl is a bit insecure sexually. I want to manifest her to be able to enjoy herself and doesn't want marriage. Sorry, I keep having these blockers like turn on. Doesn't want marriage and kids. How do I create my ideal marriage with her? Thank you. Yeah, Simo, good question. So you like fundamentally what it comes down to is that she is a reflection. Like I know that it appears as though things are happening outside of you, right? Like we all kind of can get caught up in stuff. It still happens to me from time to time, if I'm being honest. We all get caught up to appearances. But fundamentally, what's actually happening is that you are experiencing your SP from inside of your mind. You're experiencing your SP from states that you're occupying within you. And so things are appearing to change. It first happened within you. So with that being the cause, what needs to change then is the things that you entertain inside of your mind in relation to her. Because she is a figmentation of your imagination and your reality. She is outplaying what you're entertaining within you. So start entertaining and seeing her as being ideal. Start seeing her as being uh, the way that she would love to be, which is free and being herself, and the way that you would love for her to be, which is her being herself. And keep this consistent. Like this is a very important thing. And I was talking with this to my wife today. My wife goes, "Man, I wish that there was something that manifested for me." And that's the funny thing. Like we all come to this point, right, where I'm like, I just want things to manifest for me. I don't want to keep controlling my mind. I don't want to keep controlling my imagination. But here's the reality: there is nothing that can do it for you because there is nothing that manifests in your reality. That's the truth. So then it's up to me to change me. It's up to me to change my state of consciousness. It's up to me to take responsibility for the way that I'm imagining my life and imagining others because nothing else is going to do it for me because it fundamentally can't. Since you are the cause, there is nothing else that can save you. So it's a double edged sword. It may be like, oh shit, that's kind of rough. But then also at the same time, it is a lifesaver because it's true. So change your imagining and she will lovingly rearrange yourself. I'm good. Such a nice surprise to see you live today. Been at the beach today reading CWG2 and it hit again. So good. Okay, this may be a silly question, but what is CWG2? And the beach sounds wonderful. I love the beach. What are your thoughts on portals for manifestation? Apparently today is one. Uh, my personal opinion, Fig, and this kind of just ties into what I just talked about, is that there is no secondary causes. And I know many are like, ah, that's tough. But then also it's like, okay, cool. Well, I just control my imagining then since I'm the cause. And so it's the same thing with portals. Portals can be, if you think that they're helpful, then use them, right? Like use them. If you like them, if you find them helpful, use them. But know that it has power because your imagination does. Like that's it. That's all I gotta say about that. Forrest Gump, guys. Anybody know? Yeah, I'm working. I guess kinda. I'm flowing. Joseph, what other things we do like once or twice and no thoughts come up like automatic ones? How do we know for sure we would be in the state? It's so mystical. I wouldn't necessarily worry about like being too much in the state, right? And like I get your concern on that because you hear so much of, oh, you have to be like this, you have to be like this, and et cetera, et cetera. My thing is just simply like visualize something or accept something is done, and then just go on with your life. Like just go and enjoy your life. And if thoughts come up about it again, where you're looking for proof or validation, whatever it is, or you're looking for it, then again, just simply acknowledge that you have it. That's literally all I do is I just simply the moment a desire comes to me, I accept it because fundamentally everything comes from within you, not even fundamentally, just it is that way, right? Hence why we're all manifesting, we're all affirming. Neville talks about that it comes from you, et cetera, because it does. And so the moment that a desire comes from you, accept it like a gift. Thank you that it's mine. And then go on with your day. It is that way. And then if you look for proof and validation, then simply again, just assume that you have it and then go on with your day. Like that's I wouldn't worry about the states. I wouldn't worry about the emotions. I wouldn't worry about all this stuff. Just keep it very simple. Of like the desire comes to you, acknowledge that you have it. And you can do that in any way, shape, or form. You can affirm, you can visualize, you can catch the mood, whatever it is. Just recognize that you have it though. And that's such an important thing. Neville talks about this is that it's not a force thing. Forcing will cause failure. Because if you look at what's the intention behind forcing? The intention behind forcing is that you're making it so, or you need to do something. But that's not how the law works. The law is knowing that you already have everything and accepting or surrendering that it is so. So it's a thank you. Thank you that I have it. A simple acknowledgement because you're not creating it. It's not like it doesn't exist. If it didn't exist, you couldn't imagine it, but you can imagine it, which means it exists and that you have it. And so thank you. And then you go on with your day. And again, if you think or you're looking for proof and validation, simply again, acknowledge that you have it. That's literally all I do in the last 3 months of my life have been the most incredible business wise, relationship wise, emotional stability wise, my thought pattern wise, interactions with life in general. By far the best it's ever been. And that's simply all I've done. Because I recognize that that's all an affirmation ever did, or that's all visualization ever did. I wasn't at the time, and as you keep doing it more and more, you keep getting more insights, right? It's just part of growth. You like understand why you do what you do and etc. I didn't know what I was doing when I first started affirming or I started visualizing. And I was struggling so much because I felt like I had to do it. I had to create it. And all I had to do was just acknowledge that I had it. That was all an affirmation did. I stopped myself from imagining that I didn't have it, and I started imagining that I did have it. That was it. Which means that it already existed. I accepted it, and then it flowed into my life. So funny you're asking that question. I was literally saying today how Conversation with God is not a book, but oh my God. Complete Conversation with God is absolute fire. It's probably my favorite book ever, besides my book. No, I'm just kidding. I like Complete Conversation with God more, if I'm honest. Hey, Joseph, what up, Jonathan? My SP and I are having a conversation around feelings, not staying just friends. Is there any advice you have in terms of approaching the conversation? Yes, Jonathan, I do. Be as you are without any expectation of the outcome. and it's going to go the way you want it to go. I know it's like that saying, "Just be yourself," right? People hate that shit. I used to hate that. So that's literally what it means. Is that be yourself. If you feel like kissing her, kiss her. If you don't feel like kissing her, don't kiss her. But enjoy yourself, have fun, and have no expectation of how it should go. And it's going to go the way that you want it to go. Not to put an expectation on it, but just to prove the point. This is how life works. I have found is the more that I enjoy myself, and the more that I don't have an expectation on outcome, the more that what I love flows to me. I'm in agreement with Bashar on that aspect. I've been having dreams about my SP. Doesn't mean anything. Terracy, thank you for the question. Yes, it's whatever you say that it means, just like your emotions are whatever you say that they mean. Because life has no meaning. Actually, even further, it's funny. I came to the realization that Joseph Rodriguez is correct in this aspect, that life actually is peace, love, bliss, happiness, fulfillment. And let me explain why, how I came to this realization. So if by default, for those of you that have meditated, you've all experienced this, or for those of you that have experienced moments where your mind wasn't thinking, you weren't imagining anything, you weren't having conversations, what you're brought to fundamentally, as I was, is that the experience of just existing, I feel love, peace, bliss, happiness, fulfillment. I feel this just by existing. So if my state of consciousness is what projects outside of me, this means then that life is also love, peace, bliss, happiness, fulfillment. The only time that I experience life not being that way is when I put a condition in my mind that I need life to be like this in order for me to be as I am. You see that there? So I do nothing for me to experience life as peace, love, bliss, happiness, fulfillment. I experience this while in meditation. I'll be sitting there, not thinking of nothing, and this love will boil up in me. This gratitude will boil up in me. I'll start imagining myself as being ideal and life as being ideal automatically. It happens to me, and I don't do anything, which means then that that's who I am when I'm not thinking. So then the only way that I can experience anything other than that is if I am imagining, I'm thinking to the contrary. That's all I got to say. I was in flow and then it stopped. So that's it. So I share all that to share that, Jonathan, just let it flow, and what you love will flow to you because that's your default set of being is what you love. I love the questions, guys. You guys are I'm always fire. Thank you for doing this for everyone who needs it. You're welcome, JT. Thank you for being here. What up, Nick? St. Nicholas. I appreciate you, Nick. I don't tell you that enough. I love you and I appreciate you, man. Nicholas, I'm here. Yes, you are, bro. You are here in the flesh and also in the spirit. You're right. 100% of the things I did manifest, I never forced. I did it once and went on with my way. It's the thing I try hard for that have been blocked. And you'll find fundamentally mystical when you look it back, it was because you were imagining to the contrary. That's why I just say, like, I'm so big on Neville's quote, you are who it is that you desire to be. The only reason why you don't see it is your refusal to believe it. So you are who it is that you desire to be. And you'll notice this, like when you're just being as you are, which I call flow, Eckhart Tolle calls the power of now, Buddha called awareness or consciousness, Neville Goddard called I am, whatever you want to call it. There's different signposts for the same truth, but you find every single spiritual teacher coming to the same realization that your consciousness is God. And everything is an external manifestation of God, which means that you aren't separate from anything. Only the little I, the one that judges based upon appearances, like it talks about in the Bible, do not judge based upon appearances. Do not judge based upon what the little I says, but judge based upon righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is understanding experientially that you are everything, and you have everything, and you always have had everything. What if your SP has met her dream partner and you haven't heard from her since? So, apocalypse, this I'm sure you're already aware of, but I just want to reinforce how creation happens. So, I trust that you recognize that you were imagining that this would happen prior to it happening. And now that it happened, which showed you that you're God and that you're the power. So, what needs to happen from this point going forward is for you to remove it out of your consciousness. Because I want to walk through how one creates. So you have your awareness, your consciousness. It's that which observes. It's that which is observing the personality acting. You as the person, right? How many times have you gone into a conversation and you went, "Oh, I didn't like how I acted here," or "I didn't like what I said." What was it in you that observed you acting? That's who I'm referencing. What is it in you that's been the same since you were 5 years old? Your thoughts change, your behaviors change, your emotions change, your body changes, your look changes, everything changes. But what is it in you that doesn't change and is right now the same that it was 10 years ago? It's not, it doesn't conform to appearances, it doesn't conform to thinking. What is it in you that's there, that's observing and transcends everything? The answer, and this isn't really a thought, it's more of a knowing, is I am. So your I amness is this awareness that's in your mind that is observing what you are saying within it. It's aware of what you are assuming within it. And whatever you are assuming, you are imagining, you are picturing, you are thinking about, you are fantasizing about. This is what I am is seeing itself as. So this is why I say you don't want to entertain in your mind things you don't want to experience is because your awareness, which is God or I am, is observing what you're doing within yourself. Every time that you go to the grocery store and you're getting ready to make a purchase, you are aware, your I am is aware of what you're saying to yourself in regards to purchasing things. Whenever you get a bill, your I am or your awareness is aware of what you're saying to yourself in relation to this money, to this bill. Are you imagining that you're wealthy and you have plenty of money to pay a bill? Or are you imagining that you're not wealthy? When you're interacting with your SP, are you entertaining, which means that you're having thoughts in your consciousness that are suggesting that things could be problematic, that they could oppose you, that things could go wrong? We want to remove that out of our consciousness because what is in our consciousness is what expresses. So you want to remove the story you have about your SP in the current scenario. So do not judge based upon appearances. So don't imagine based upon what your 3D has confirmed. Imagine based upon the fact that you are the creator, that you first imagined this and now you're reneging what you imagined. Not out of denial, not out of, oh, no, 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 it can't be this way, but out of understanding, out of truth, out of power, out of choice. You are the cause. So change what you have in here because what you have in here is what you're saying I am to, and that must create. So get rid of the story. No longer entertain that things are a particular way. Start entertaining that things are the way that you love them to be. Thank you, everybody that liked the stream. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to start streaming on TikTok too, guys. Do you guys think it's a good idea to stream on TikTok? I had like 400 viewers on there, so I think I might start doing a little bit more streams on TikTok. Help me manifest my SP. Text me that he misses me. Me. Yes. So for those of you that didn't hear earlier, I do have a skill community, and now we're doing a a membership program where you're going to get my course and weekly phone calls with us where we're going to handle specific issues for people or challenges that people have. I'll put the link in the video once it's over with, so that way you guys can join if you'd like to. Because I find that for a lot of people, there is a lot of different elements to their assumptions, their SP not being ideal. So I'll put it in the description here for you, so that you can get help overcoming this. But for the time being, what you want to do is, one, I listen to my streams because I talk about this a lot. A lot of people ask questions of different things that challenges they have or things that are stuck in their mind of the way that the relationship is with their SP. Now, fundamentally, I know that you've had experiences in your 3D that may confirm certain things, or you're imagining your relationship with your SP based upon your senses. But the only way, since you are the cause and there is no other God and there's nothing that's going to come to save you, and only you can control what you put in your awareness, it's up to you to change what you imagine. And what I mean by imagining is what you're thinking about, what story you're telling yourself, what meaning you're giving circumstances, what you're allowing yourself to reminisce on, what you're allowing to occupy your mind, your mental faculties. This is what I mean by imagining. We have to take this extremely serious. You are the cause. And so we don't have time for imagining things that don't serve us. We don't have time to imagine things to the contrary, because you're very powerful. You're very powerful. You're way more powerful than you may be aware of. Your life, or what you experience as life, is all a manifestation of you. And if that's the case, we have to take what we put in our mind very, very, very seriously. In a fun way, of course, because this is a game, but we do need to take it serious because you are the cause. So, although the story or the 3D experience has happened, which is actually a benefit for you because you get to see that you create. Now it's time to take your power back and to create what you love instead of what you fear, which was created by misunderstanding. So assume now that you're now in a loving relationship, your ideal relationship, that you are the way that you desire to be now, that your SP is the way that you desire to be now. And it doesn't require a lot of work. It just requires a simple and continuous acknowledgement that it is the way that you want it to be now. And not allowing yourself to imagine based upon appearances, not allowing yourself to imagine based upon past memories or untrue beliefs that imply separation, or that there is another power in your reality other than you, because it's untrue. There is only God. I know I have Joseph. What up, Parody? I know I will have me because he is my person and vice versa, but I truly miss his presence. How to deal with the yearning feeling. Yeah, so that's the meaning that you're giving it, right? Because no emotion has any inherent meaning. It is up to you, the creator of your reality, the creator of your mind, ultimately, or what you entertain in your mind. I like to call it the pimp of the subconscious. It's up to you to decide what goes into your mind and what doesn't. Right? They have that saying of, "Would you let somebody come into your house and trash around and etc. Break things and whatever?" You're like, "Of course no." Well, it's even more important what we allow inside of our mind, and so we need to make sure that we're not allowing things that aren't fruitful to take space in our mind, because what we allow in our mind is what ultimately ends up manifesting. So we have to be very cautious with this. So give the meaning of the emotion that it's because you love your SP so much, or it's because you guys have the most amazing relationship, or it's because he misses you a bunch and he's excited to see you. It can be anything that you decide it is. Is there another way to release the stuck feeling? That's a great question. And I was just, this is a synchronization. I was just talking about this with Ryan before. I had a couple days during the leading up to the conversation with Joseph Rodriguez where the little I arose quite a bit in me, and I was having a bunch of emotions that came up, and there was a whole bunch of just outward challenges that were reflecting outside of me. It was reminiscent of how life used to be for me before, because it was just continuous, like fucking thing after another thing after another thing, and I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck? And the whole reason why is because I had emotions that came up, or I had sensations in the body that came up, and I did not observe them in the moment. And this is what I found. This is what I found through like 15 years of doing this, is that there's many things. So there's several elements to it. The first one is, let's say I have something happen to me outside of me. Appearances happen, and let's just say that the little I appears, and it's judging based upon appearances, or doesn't want this to go this way, or wants this to go a certain way, or whatever it is. What I noticed is this will generate an emotion or a sensation in the body. I trust all of you have experienced this. If I, in that moment, simply just observe that energy and motion when it comes up, it'll transmute. It'll transmute. I'll go back into flow, and I will be ideal going forward. Now, a thing that I recognize is, let's say in that moment, I don't acknowledge it. What I notice kind of happens, and I would assume experientially you guys had the same experience, is it'll kind of accumulate. And what I mean by that is I'll kind of feel the energy and motion in the body, and it'll kind of stay with me. And then I notice that there may be another experience that triggers some other types of emotions in the body, and now it kind of forms almost like a bigger energy and motion. And so it'll create more irritation. I'll notice that my thoughts will start being more unideal, and it'll build up and it'll build up. And then I'll start having dreams about this thing that I'm worrying about. And then I'll start thinking more unideal from that place, from that premise. So what I found is simply observing the energy and motion in the moment that it comes up, releasing the meaning behind why the energy and motion came up, is the most ideal. If you can do that, things don't accumulate. There's no story behind this. There's no buildup of it that ends up coming up to where it turns into, a large energy emotion. Max, hey, buddy, can you keep it down, please? Sorry, he gets into his YouTube videos, and this guy starts vibing. But I found that that's the most important thing to do, is to do that at the moment that it comes up, to make sure that it's felt in that moment. Otherwise, it'll turn into like a bigger storm, I feel. These are true. I keep getting a bunch of messages, so it keeps going all the way up. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Hi, Joseph. I've had the urge for months to express my deeper feeling for him, but I fear it at the same time. This loop is keeping me emotionally stuck. Should I just have the conversation anyways? Yes, and am. So the thing I find, and why I talk about being in flow so much, is because it just gets rid of so much convolution and complexity, and should I do this or should I not do this, and etc. And what I find is that experientially, when you're in flow, which is just and when people hear this, I've heard so many times where people go, well, Joseph, I don't know how to do this, or this doesn't make sense, or etc. Or they try to turn it into a technique. And when I'm saying flow, I'm not saying to do anything. Like, flow is not a technique. Because it's experiential. It's like, here's the equivalent of it. If you go to Disneyland and you're trying to explain to me how to go to Disneyland, you're going to put it into words. Now, are the words the actual experience of going to Disneyland? Of course it's not. Yet, how could you describe to me how to go to Disneyland unless you put it into words? You couldn't. So you use these words in a way to try to explain something to me that is an experience. And it's the exact same thing with flow. I'm explaining to you how to access flow, but flow is not a thing. It's not a concept. It's not an idea. It's who you are beyond the mind. It is your default state of being. It's your natural state of being. It's your I amness. It's like if I were to describe God to you, I put in this concept and you'd say, well, no, my God's greater than your God, or et cetera. And you completely miss the experience with the concept. So flow is not doing something. It's not a technique. It's not trying to affirm this or trying to do this or trying to do that. It is recognizing who you are. It is being as you are. That's what I mean by flow. And when you're being as you are, you naturally behave the way that you love to behave. You naturally manifest what you love to manifest. Your heart's desires automatically flow to you. What you love will flow to you. I've seen so many people, their SP situation was just all over the place. They started practicing this and their SP shown up in a loving manner very quickly within like a week. And they didn't do any affirmations. They didn't do any visualizations. They didn't really catch in the mood because you don't need to. Your default state of being is manifesting what you love. Your default state of being is manifesting harmony. Your default state of being is manifesting abundance. Your default state of being is what you love. So what I suggest is do something like meditation prior, do something like going for a walk and paying attention to your breath prior. And what this does is it'll put you in touch with who you are. It stops the mind from thinking. It stops the overthinking and the overanalyzing, the needing, the controlling, and the forcing, and the what ifs and the etc. And it allows you to be present in the moment. You ever notice the times where you're in conversations with people and you don't have a particular agenda, or you're not judging them and they're not judging you, and you're just being as you are? These are the most lovely conversations and everything flows effortlessly. This is what I'm talking about. What you want to happen will happen automatically as long as you don't try to control yourself, manipulate, act a particular way, do techniques, do this, try to behave this way. Just be as you are. You're enough. Because who you are is consciousness. You're God. So everything you touch turns to gold. Everything you love flows to you. We let go of trying to control outcomes. We let go of trying to make things be a certain way. And then automatically what happens is that which we love flows to us. I guarantee it. Try it experientially. Don't take my word for it, but try it. Be in flow when you go and do anything, whether it's your job, you're doing sales, you're manifesting something, you're meeting with an SP or whatever it is, a friendship, whatever. Be in flow. I guarantee you that circumstance will rearrange in harmony with you. I promise you. I'm willing to put $1 million on it. Here, Joseph Jr. in your background. Yeah, he's a lively guy. He's vibing. Bro, I'm in contact with my SP every day. A lot of hot and cold behaviors. Also, how do I communicate with her? I'm in my mind. Relationship is perfect, but in 3D, how do I treat her? Yeah. So, corrupt. It was the same question or the same answer as what the other person said when they have a conversation with their SP. Just being as you are. It's going to get rid of a lot of this control of wanting them to be a certain way, needing them to be a certain way. And you'll find that that needing or that wanting was actually why they were showing up that way. My SP is currently 3D. It's distanced herself from me because some rumors that spread. She thinks I spread them, which I didn't. What is your advice moving forward to not entertain it anymore? Darkest hour. Don't entertain it. Revise it if it makes you feel better, and just see the in revision it going the way that you want it to go, and do not in your mind allow yourself to imagine that that's a thing, and it won't be talked about anymore. Thank you, Joseph. I'm new this on a certain level, but needed the reminder. You're welcome. Does detachment from my SP Elena, make her come back to me faster. So the thing that I will say about detachment is detachment is like a conscious effort to be a particular way, which I'm not a fan of because I'm a fan of acknowledging that you are perfect as you are because that's the truth. You don't do techniques, you don't do anything to be as you are. This is who you are. So detaching is like a conscious effort to not do something. And what I'm suggesting is not a conscious effort, it is allowing yourself, it's being you. So you will naturally detach when you acknowledge that you have something that you love, but it's not something that you consciously force yourself to do. It's a byproduct. So when you have the desire to be in a loving relationship or to be adored or whatever, and you recognize that that desire is fundamentally for you to acknowledge that you are that way now or you have that thing now, then it's done. You acknowledge that you have it, which then releases the need for proof and validation outside of you that you are the way that you want to be. So this stops you from needing validate proof and validation. This stops you from control and enforcing. This stops you from imagining that you're not it. And this allows you to accept that you are it, that you have it, that you're being it. And you are. And then you go on with your day because you're satisfied. You have it. You just acknowledge that you have it. You just recognize that you have it. Then let's just say again, a thought comes up or something triggers where you're again, I want my SP, I miss my SP, the old story comes up again. And this can be a very helpful question. Why do I need SP to show up this way? Or why do I need SP? And you're going to find the desire. The desire is because I want to feel as though I'm loved, because I want to feel as though I'm adored, because I want to feel as though I'm appreciated. Okay. So then go ahead and acknowledge that that exists within you now. Thank you that I'm adored. Thank you, Father, that I'm appreciated. Thank you that I'm important. Thank you that I'm validated, right? It's what Jesus did in the Bible. Jesus, before every prayer, would say, thank you, Father, that it is this way now. No questions, no proof, no validation, no second guessing, no any of these things. This is the way that we pray. Thank you that it is that way. Simple acknowledgement. Thank you, Father. Thank you that I have it. Or it doesn't even need to be thank you, Father. Thank you that I have it. Thank you that I am it. Thank you that it is that way. Really fundamentally, and this is why I always say this, what we're really wanting to do is we are using the affirmation, the prayer, the simple acknowledgement to stop ourselves from imagining to the contrary. So notice, you may have been looking for proof and validation. You may have been looking for us to show up a certain way. You may have felt like you were lacking or wanting. This is all imagining to the contrary of having your desire. And then my suggestion, acknowledge that you have what you desire. This then stops you from imagining that you don't have what you desire. This stops you from imagining to the contrary because now you feel as though you have. You prayed as though you have it. So that's it. So many people will go, "Well, I don't think about SP anymore." Well, this is a good thing. This means that you acknowledge that you have it. Why would you look for something or want something that you have? This is a byproduct of feeling as though you have it. It's not going to come up in mind. It may come up in mind of how much you love your SP or how much you appreciate them or things like this, but it's no longer going to be, I want them, I'm lacking them, I need them, I'm fiending for them. It's still going to instead be, I love them, I appreciate them, I'm happy for them, that I have them in my life, etc. Thank you, Joseph. That helps me a lot. I have erased the old story to where it doesn't exist anymore, and I'm creating a new story for us now. I know she loves me. Amen. Sure, bro. And you're going to find you stay loyal to that and not imagine to the contrary. You're going to experience that. It is like a guarantee. The separation, does that go away over time, or do I need to do anything specific to remove something? So yeah, Fig, I actually just made a course, which I definitely recommend. It goes into this in depth, a lot more than I'll be able to here. But what I would suggest is feel the energy emotion when it comes up. Allow it to be there. Allow yourself to feel the energy. Remove the story that's being suggested as to why you're experiencing the energy. Because again, fundamentally, remember, your emotion has no meaning. It is just energy in motion. So become conscious. And another thing that I want to recommend too, and I'm going to get off after this, guys, because the little one is running around and becoming very anxious. Um, he's wanting to do little guy stuff. Your emotions coming up in your body is a beautiful opportunity for you to uh, create what I call a flow enhancer. And so there's two things. There's a flow restrictor, which I would say anytime where your mind is telling you that you lack something, you need something, you're doing something wrong, the old man comes up, etc. This is what I would call a flow restrictor. Flow is when your mind is fluent. It's where you're in deep integration with what you're doing. You're automatically imagining what you love. You're saying affirmations about yourself automatically. You're not doing anything to think this way. It just happens to you. Much like, and I trust you guys have experienced this, when things aren't the way you want them to be, you're catching yourself imagining automatically in contrary to your desire. You're not choosing these thoughts, they're choosing you. This is what happens in flow. You're not forcing thoughts of affirmations. You're not forcing to imagine beautifully. It's just what you do. But when emotion comes up, this is a great opportunity for you to transmute that energy into flow. And I didn't recognize until recently. I was watching one of Joseph Rodriguez's videos, and he talked about how you can transmute the energy, emotion into flow. And that's what I was doing all this time because I had a lot of energy and emotion come out throughout my manifestation journey. I would become the awareness, observe the energy and emotion, not fight it, not make a story out of it. And I would just observe it. And what it would happen is it would transmute into more flow. I would become more present. And I noticed that when I was in similar situations, that energy and emotion wouldn't arise at intensity because I released the thinking that caused that energy and motion. I released the belief that caused that energy and motion. And so before I would overthink or I would worry or I'd whatever, it was now replaced with being in flow, which means that I would imagine ideally automatically. So take those opportunities where you guys are having energy and emotion arise. Use that to transmute that into fuel to be in flow. So just remove the meaning and observe the energy and motion, especially if it's deep energy and motion. Like I found that if it's like surface level where you just have a little irritation or a little energy come up, you can simply acknowledge that emotion and just make it as just being this energy emotion is is this, it's bliss, it's love, and you'll notice that it'll transmit it very quickly. If it's deep energy emotion, like where it keeps arising, where it's very deep and it keeps coming up, in this instance, just observe it. Just observe it and sit there with it until it dissolves. Don't try to dissolve it. Don't force it. Don't judge it. Just observe it and it'll transmute. And you'll notice when you're done, you're going to feel even more in flow and you're going to feel even more ideal once that energy and motion passes. So allow it to be without judgment, without wanting to get rid of it, and it'll transmute into what you love. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. And again, I put the school community, if you guys want to join up in it, you're going to have my membership in it, my course in it, my book in it. And we're going to have weekly calls for you guys, 3 weekly calls that are going to be intimate and personal to you to help you manifest your person. I love you guys. Thanks, JT. Later.